Hi there and welcome to Lorena's Labyrinth. My name's Anna Pirelli. The comments that you see here are my views, beliefs, opinions, and sometimes they are not even my fully formed views, beliefs, and opinions. However, they are my understandings. Please do retain an open mind and reflect on any of the content and your comfort levels. If your views differ, please feel free to leave a comment. Also remember, it is possible to disagree in respectful ways. My way is not necessarily your way and vice versa. You might also find that some of the content on this playlist in regard to spiritual or universal laws, it resonates with you, meaning it feels right to you, while other laws may not feel right or they may not feel comfortable. If this is the case, the information is either not right for you or it is not right for you right now, and it might never be right for you at any given time. It really doesn't matter. As an earthy and practical person, I can put my hand up with all honesty and say that I have at different times had the same feelings about some of the content in here. And with some of them, I still have a level of skepticism within my viewpoints, but I choose to retain an open mind about the things that I don't fully understand for a few reasons. Firstly, because I believe it would be supreme arrogance to think that we all know all of the answers while we have a body. And because what is right for one of us is not necessarily right or suitable for all of us, and I choose to respect the differences. Please do leave your opinions, beliefs. Feel free to argue the points in a respectful way with any of the content on the slides and even my interpretations. And if you feel that you can add clarity around some of the content, we would all love to see it. Thank you. For now, though, let's explore the laws.
All creation is governed by law. The principles that operate in the outer universe, discoverable by scientists, are called natural laws. But there are subtler laws that rule the hidden spiritual planes and the inner realm of consciousness. Contained within these laws, or conditions, is the true nature of matter. Knowledge of these laws has an effect upon the mental urges. Mind is the builder. Stay in full mindfulness of the application of universal law as related to self and to others, and know that in love all life is given, in love all things move. In giving one attains, in giving one acquires. In giving, love becomes the fulfillment of desire, guided and directed in the ways that bring the more perfect knowledge of self as related to the universal, all-powerful, all-guiding, all divine influence in life. Love is life. When we go back, merge with the God source, in some infinitesimal but profound way, we expand the mind of God. Our higher self always points the best and most perfect way, and it is ours to listen and choose or reject what we hear. It does not blame, but patiently tries again to show the perfect way, the loving way. All of creation pushes forth. We are ever becoming. Identity ever remains. Universal Law number 92, the law of spiritual awakening. A basic level of self-control and stability is required to maintain the degree of effort required for the awakening of other states of awareness, because such awakening brings with it higher forms of perception and power. Self-centered misuse of the greater perception and power bears proportionally graver karmic consequence. Spiritual awakening brings with it the need for moral impeccability.
I must admit that initially I thought, oh yes, the law of spiritual awakening, this is going to be an easy one to respond to. And then actually I started to look at it and I thought, you know what, I think we actually need to define what a spiritual awakening means, because frankly, although I had thought it was straightforward, as the opening of the mind to spirituality, the divine, the creator, so forth, that there's actually more to these passages than what I first thought at a glance. So obviously, as usual, I like to break things down. There's definitions that can be found, and of course it's based on a person's individual experience. Interestingly, in the course of looking for a definition, And I don't know whether we should say unsurprisingly or surprisingly, psychologists have actually conducted some research on the subject of spirituality and spiritual awakening, and I've put that little quote there for you to actually see who they are. I haven't read the whole document or paper or whatever. I just grabbed this definition from it, and basically it says that it is a term that's given to a subjective experience in which a individual's ego transcends the ordinary finite self. So we're talking about letting go of the idea that life is merely about this present where we're born in the physical, we have one life, which this is of course what some people believe, that we're born, we die, end of story. Okay, this is the belief that we have more than this current life, that there is a wider sense, an infinite sense of truth and reality, which I quite like that as a description. Anyway, what I did also find is references all over the internet with the word awakenings being triggered by external events, and that they're usually associated with a heightened sensory perception. That includes things like clairvoyance and clairaudience or whatever, telepathic experiences and out-of-body experiences. So how does this fit with the law? And I say the word law, of course, in quotation marks. Let's take a look at it. Before we do explore this, though, just a reminder of the rest of the passage, which says that we need to have self-control and a stability, I guess, of personality required for the effort of awakening, and that it brings higher perceptions and power, and misuse of power and that kind of stuff brings karmic consequences. So that's in there. That's what the law is saying. And once again, I put the word law in quotation marks. It says that there is a need for moral impeccability. Okay, so I think that's easily argued when we talk about the fact that, I'll go into it. I've known people that I wouldn't say are morally impeccable, that have access to the clairs, shall we say. So, okay, going back to it. In the first instance, when we refer to self-control and stability, my answer to this is I don't believe that this is necessary as part of the awakening process. It depends what you mean by awakening. If you talk about a spiritual awakening, one with, say, an alignment to creator values, I'm not convinced that this is a requirement for people to access their gifts, okay? And to be able to walk with integrity. Where it seems to be stated by the psychologist that something happens as a consequence to an event where people are blown wide open, I do believe actually that may be correct for many people. And this is part of the reason why I'm not convinced of the first part, this business of having control and stability. Usually, in my experiences, when the people have had their gifts blown open, there hasn't always been some kind of incident that has occurred, and it hasn't always been because these people have got such a heightened sense of moral impeccability, or even that they've been in an accident. But I do think it's important. I don't know if you can hear, the cockies have just arrived and they're making a huge racket in the tree out there. I just had to close the door. Okay, so getting back to it. The law infers that, a person has to have a level, I guess, of control, stability and moral impeccability to be able to access their gifts. And I say I have seen people who most definitely are able to access their gifts with questionable moral ethics. Perhaps they didn't at the time they were opening up, though. I guess that is the point. Perhaps they did have good intention, all of that kind of stuff, when they cracked into their gifts. Now, I've also met people whose gifts opened overnight, and not as a consequence of anything particularly traumatic or any external events around them, although they have tended to open to their gifts overnight. Now, as I was saying, these laws were written obviously hundreds of years ago. This is the Western interpretation, and these laws were written at least in about 1850, as we know, with Madame Blavatsky. And then there is the belief and perception that she actually created them from her experiences with the Hindus and Tibetans and people like that. So we're going back even thousands of years when they were written. Now, what I did get told, I think it was about year 2000 or whatever, when I was consciously learning to develop and access my own gifts and take control of them, if you like, for want of a better description. I was told that the 21st century was a real energetic shift as we came into the age of Aquarius, and that more and more people would be opening to their gifts. And because, of course, this requires, or my beliefs embrace the idea of the divine plan and the divine blueprint, which is also upheld by numerology, I might add. My understanding way back then was that as part of being born on the planet at this time, you can take this on board or leave it. This is just something that somebody had said to me, was that we were being born into difficult and transitional times, and that each of us had agreed to come to the planet at this time frame to help with this planetary shift. And so therefore we are considered to be quite valued, apparently, by the light beings because of this. And we are coming in probably blowing open to our gifts, having this what we call spiritual awakening in ways that are easier maybe than yesteryear. And you will see this yourself with the amount of people that, there has been this shift away from mainstream religion since the 1980s through until now. People still have faith, but they haven't known how to direct it. So I'm thinking that this is all part of this spiritual awakening. Now, as far as the spiritual awakening for each of us as individuals, regardless of what we might believe about the divine plan and blueprint, is that some people, it happens very easily and others are born into it. Interestingly, children, we can see their capacity where they talk about this veil and we don't remember where we're from. I've actually met many little children under the age of 6 that will talk about the other side and not realise the implications of what they're saying for us adults that are listening. And quite often I've met, every now and again it makes on the media about a child that's been able to see spirit or communicate messages from the other side, and people are like, oh my goodness me, it's amazing. Well, once you've known children that do that, it kind of becomes a case of they all can do it. I think it's just a matter of how us parents relate to them. Actually, I should do a video on how parents should act with children that have got gifts, because it's very important that we not put our beliefs into the child or try and sway anything they bring through. It's let them be honest. It really is out the mouth of babes, but that's for another day. Anyway, so back to this law. Look, there are people that will come in and I consider potentially use their gifts to manipulate other people for their own benefits. So I'm not convinced that a person needs to be highly evolved to be able to access their gifts. What I do know is, of course, is once you can access your gifts, and you do know this stuff, is that if you do misuse your gifts, you will experience, obviously, graver karmic consequences, basically. So this is why it refers to a need for moral impeccability. Look, it can come very quickly and very harshly. There is that saying that the more aware you become, the more awake you are. Inappropriate actions result in very quick karma. And this is why I guess they're talking about having moral impeccability and using the self-control and self-discipline. And this is not just about ensuring that you don't harm other people. Obviously, this is the priority. We've got to make sure that our actions and conduct is in alignment with creator source values. Gosh, I just lost my train of thought there. But yes, also, it's in the best interests of all of us to make sure that we act and conduct ourselves from that higher space of morality with this care, regard and love for humanity, and to support them to reaching their own potential and greatness. What about you? What do you think? Is there anything that you would like to add to this? I think we probably could have, if we were having a discussion, we could probably really go into detail about this, including the content on moral impeccability. But anyway, I'll put this up as is, and I'll wait to hear from you, and hopefully you will make a comment, give me some feedback about what you feel with the videos. I'll catch you on the next one, okay? Take care for now. Bye-bye.